Welcome to another episode of the Back Catalogue podcast. My name is Apo, this is Vincent, and we are doing 2017's very own Get Out. I'm going to give you the facts, then we're going to get into it. It's got the 7.8 out of 10 on the IMDb. It's got the 98% on the Rotten Tomatoes. This movie right here had a budget that I cannot find right now. See, I usually set this up in advance, but I was singing BBL Drizzy. But it made $255.4 million. Let me give you the synopsis. We'll jump right into it. Chris, an African-American man, decides to visit his Caucasian girlfriend's parents during a weekend getaway. Although they seem normal at first, he is not prepared to experience the horrors ahead. It's not Spooktober, but we're here. We're doing horror. And in fact, over the next 3 weeks, we are doing the Key and Peele. Oh, sorry, not the Key and Peele. I'm thinking, because everything is cyclical. We're just doing the Jordan Peele trilogy of horror movies, if you will. Maybe thrillers for some people.
Yeah, we're doing Get Out. We're doing Nope. We're doing Us. And then we're doing that movie that Keegan-Michael Key was in that, like, I don't know, he has sex with other people or something and they're all neighbors, or I don't know.
I don't know this movie.
I don't know. That's the only thing I can think of a movie that he has been in without Jordan Peele.
Keegan-Michael Key's in
It
the
might
movie,
be a TV show. I don't know what it is.
but he's doing it with all the neighbours.
Something like that.
Is it a Key and Peele
like that.
skit that just for some reason Peele's not in?
But it is funny because Key and Peele, the duo, Jordan Peele doesn't seem like the man to be doing like cinematography marvels.
You'd think it's the other way around, right?
Well, I mean, I don't know if you'd think it'd be the other way around, but
But if you see a photo of Jordan Peele now,
yeah,
You seen Jordan Peele now?
He's got the glasses, he's got
The
the
beard?
beard.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, now, but
He'll
I'm
wear a
saying
turtleneck?
that's what I mean.
Yeah.
He's found his space, you know.
and Keegan-Michael Key is just like doing karate kicks.
He's just doing the exact same thing.
He's just being
which is, you know, if it ain't broke.
exactly right. We're going to get into this movie because I'm very excited. You know,
This was also suggested to us by one of our Patreons. Yes, people do pay us for this, so you know, take that with however much salt, pepper, any seasoning.
oregano probably in the ethnic world.
Yeah, so Waleed, it's for you.
Hey,
It's for you.
We'll come to you, but sometimes like you'll come to us
Yeah.
with a recommendation. We
That's
appreciate
right.
that. So we did Get Out because of our friend Waleed at the Patreon. And I remember, and I don't know if you remember this, but the hype around Get Out was real on arrival.
I can't believe it's 2017.
2017, dude. I remember this. You know, I was going to the cinemas because I'd heard, you know, all the advertisements said 100% on the Rotten Tomatoes. 100%.
Big cinema got you.
Big cinema got me. And it brought me into the cinema. And let me tell you, I might have been on the edge of my seat the whole time. And we're going to get into that today.
Right after a word from our sponsor. Us.
That's, yeah, us.
We're sponsoring this episode.
As in the movie that we're going to do next week.
Yeah.
But, you know,
We're sponsored by Big Jordan Peele.
dude, if Jordan Peele wants to come on the podcast, and I know he's got
Jordan,
the time.
Hey, you pass how much money you want. Big Jordan Peele.
He's linked in. We got the camera there. There's a camera here, camera there. He's everywhere. Here's the thing about this movie. When I got the recommendation from my lead, when we got the recommendation, I was like, this is another one of those horror movies that Vincent is going to say, this is the one. This is the one. And then I went and rewatched it. As soon as I heard that night, I went and watched it.
Yeah, this was rare because normally you're talking to me saying, hey, no, I'm going to watch it. And it's like 11 p.m. on Saturday night.
The night before recording.
And then you're going, hey, where do I find this movie?
Yeah.
Where do I find 1954's very own Godzilla? Like with the correct subtitles.
And I found it.
You found it.
Legally, I found it.
Yeah.
And this time I found Get Out on Netflix, but I also have it on Blu-ray. So that sort of shows that I'm a big fan of this movie.
Yeah.
One of the reasons I'm a big fan of this movie, and we'll get into because I want to know about you specifically, but one of the reasons I'm a big fan of this movie is because of the rewatchability of it. This is a movie you get thrown in. You're sort of trying to pick up the pieces as you go, but you miss a lot. Whereas in rewatch, dude, I feel this movie's even better in rewatch. After not seeing it for a couple of years and coming back, far out, man. They you know, there's little. He leaves breadcrumbs for you. Jordan Peele leaves breadcrumbs.
Yeah.
Which we'll get into a bit later. But as a first-time viewer of this, I want to know what your opinion was on it.
I mean, it was a nice looking movie.
Oh, it was lovely.
It's
looking,
a nice
you know?
looking movie. You did the first scene of my man's going, walking around. He's talking to himself, saying like, "Hey, I gotta go left, I gotta go right, and then I gotta go." Subsequently, he goes, "Good night." You got the Porsche 944,
You're sitting there, huh?
dude. One of my favorite cars.
Wow.
He's sitting there.
That's like racism as well. Like it's linked to racism in this case.
Oh, it's got to be.
Just in this case, like specifically. I don't know if it's linked to racism outside of this movie, but in this movie it is.
I love how you start with that, and then everybody watching Chris now. Like it's just Chris' show.
And it hits you with Childish Gambino from the start as well.
Yeah.
And that album came out in 2017, I believe, or maybe 2016, and it was huge. Like Jordan Peele was like, I need a song from this album in my movie.
Dong lover, you love him, I love him. Get your songs in my music. In my movie.
That's exactly right, man. Everyone loves Dong lovers.
Yeah.
But yes, you're right. It's a good looking movie.
This is a really good movie. This is without a doubt a real good movie. This is like Talk to Me spec. Not quite as good, I don't think.
You don't think this is as good as Talk to Me?
Talk to Me, honestly, Talk to Me just, he spoke to me.
I mean, talk to you.
Mark and Jason Philippou, the brothers. What are their names?
The Raka Raka twins.
The Raka Raka twins.
Yeah, they're coming on the pod. You know them.
They spoke to me.
Fine.
They spoke to me and said, "This is for you." And I watched that movie and it went through the windows to my soul.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And I said that's like a 9 out of 10 on the VMDB.
I was going to say it has to be the VMDB.
Yeah.
That's very interesting to me because I thought that I know that you love Talk to Me, but I thought that this movie may be able to hit you with some of the nuance of the story, some of the story building and the world building that's going on, around you without you maybe even knowing.
Oh, because there's world building for the other movies. Is that?
No. As in, like, you're learning about sort of the Armitages as you go. But there's little hints that they're giving you that's saying that maybe something's shady. Maybe there's people that are actually not the person you think they are. For example, I'm just gonna throw one off the top. Chris is getting shown around by the man from Godzilla, who's talking about like, hey, like Godzilla's looking angry. etc.
Jake Peralta's dad.
Jake Peralta's dad. And he goes, we left a piece of my mother in the kitchen. And there's the lady standing there who is his mother.
Dude, that's crazy.
They hit you with that early.
They hit you.
And you don't think anything about it. You're looking around the room, you're thinking, where is this mother? Where is she? Where's the piece? And she's in that lady.
I mean, that's crazy.
They hit you with those sorts of things throughout. They hit you with...
Give me another example.
They hit you with... Rose, the girlfriend, who I think in this movie, like everyone is really good.
She's a good actor.
It's unreal. Especially when she has that transition later in the film to being like the most evil person ever.
She's looking like Steve Jobs as well. Why is she dressing like Steve Jobs?
Because because we're white people.
Like she's about to do Aryan race stuff and I also bring out the next Macintosh.
She's like that lady that says like, hey, if we take a little speck of your blood, we're going to...
She's talking Elizabeth Holmes. She's got Elizabeth Holmes.
She's got some
was
Elizabeth
that before
Holmes.
that? I feel like that was... that was of the time.
That's of the time, man. I'm telling you. Elizabeth Holmes.
Elizabeth Holmes, man.
And this thing about Elizabeth Holmes, like she has those eyes as well.
Yeah.
Those eyes that will sort of lock you in and you're like, I could maybe trust this person. Until it's too late. Now she's got your blood.
And then she gets pregnant to try and get out of prison.
She did that?
No. I feel like that's something that maybe went around. I don't know how accurate that is, but we'll speculate on a show.
That's true. Because I'm thinking like, where are you doing that? In prison. But then I know they got visits.
Before to get out of going to prison.
Oh, she was pregnant.
She was saying like, how you gonna hit a man with glasses? And they picked glasses and hit the man with glasses. There's that kind of thing. Like the judicial system did that to her.
Oh man, and that's Elizabeth Holmes style things. And we might get into like the Elizabeth Holmes documentary next week.
Yeah, because we've got get rich quick schemes that might bank on the fact that you give us a drop of your blood and we'll say, yeah, this 100%, this is blood.
And then we have to do like the Elizabeth Holmes, like, hey, so I'm pregnant, I can't go.
We'll put the soccer ball on the t-shirt.
Oh man!
And if both of us are pregnant.
If the t-shirt don't fit, you must have quit. And that's what we say. We got the soccer ball underneath.
Yeah. So anyway, I like this movie.
What I was going to say was at the start of the movie, when they are rolling up to the house and they hit the deer. And obviously there's links to him thinking about his mother who was sitting after a hit and run. You get a bit of that. Obviously that's later in the story. But Rose is talking to the police officer, and the police officer asks for Chris's identification. And Rose says, why are you trying to take his identification? You think that she's standing up for him because she thinks that the police officer is racist, but the reality is she doesn't want any trace of where Chris has gone.
But do they run your ID? Is that what they do?
Oh, they'd run your ID, even if the man just looked at it, right? He might say, hey, this sounds familiar. That face sounds familiar. Chris, I reckon I remember that.
Chris
Friend
Chris Friend Chris from the Back Hello Chris cast.
If you go to Christmas, you would have found Chris's friend Chris.
You found Friend Chris and Chris's friend Chris.
There's little things like that. There's the man running at night. That's scary as hell, but it's because the man wanted to beat that guy in the race. He wanted to beat Jesse Owens.
Dude, that's crazy. You know what I mean? Jesse Owens.
That's his name.
No, I don't know.
Anyway, I think from top to bottom, this is a fantastic film. There are some qualms that I have that we'll get into later.
My overall feel of the movie was I was in it from the start. I was in it, and this wasn't a movie. The Godzilla movies. I started watching Godzilla just because I watched Kong Skull. I just wanted to see King Kong.
Yeah,
I just wanted to see it.
You want to see both of them.
I just want to see it.
You want to see them together.
And I watched that and I was going, okay, I want to watch the next one. I want to watch the next one. And we watched all of them. And I was excited to watch it. Let's go Shin Godzilla. Let's go Godzilla -1. Then I actually wanted to watch Godzilla 1954's very own. We're going to go see your father now.
Far out. What a movie, huh? And what a quote.
Movie.
What a line.
This movie, I wasn't, it was like, you clock in, you got to watch Get Out, and you clock off. It was that kind of vibe.
You clock in, you watch Get Out, and then you subsequently get out.
But let me tell you, I didn't want to get out. I clocked in and I was going, I'm in.
Yeah.
I'm 100% in this movie. I was on the edge of my seat on my kitchen table. That's why I was watching it. I was watching it on my laptop on my kitchen table.
You're sitting on the table. You got it on your lap. You just sit on the table.
No, I'm not sitting. Why would I have my laptop on my lap?
With booty shorts on as well,
No, I don't know.
Your wife come home.
I'm pretty sure I had this exact outfit on. I will be honest.
That's all right. Either way, it's positive.
But I was on the edge of my seat. I was going, I had to go to soccer. Oh, yeah, I watched this yesterday. I had to go to soccer. And I had 30 minutes left of the movie. And the part that I had stopped it at was when he first gets in the chair. He's with the TV. He's strapped to the chair.
He's down in the thing where they've got the...
Yeah.
I mean, they hit you with the thing. They say that we got black mold down there. We can't get in there. And then all the people that go down there are black molds for this white people. Is that crazy? He hits you with these
crazy.
things.
That's wild.
Jordan Peele thought about this. And when I say this was when I watched it the first time. I was like, I need to learn everything about this movie.
Yeah.
And I watched many interviews with Jordan Peele.
Because you messaged Jordan Peele. You said, hey, bro, you need to tell me what's going on here.
I said, Jordan, as a man that's watched literally, I would say every Key and Peele episode that's ever been made,
probably more than once.
Yeah, and he's like, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And he said, did you see the Die Hard 6 skit that's no longer available on YouTube? I said, I've seen it.
He said, yeah, can you get a hold of that for me? Can you send me a link or something? I don't even care if it's 240p.
Dude, I need the link.
Yeah, I need the link. Send a video.
Anthony was there.
But that's the point where I said, okay, if I don't leave for soccer now, I'm going to be even later than I already am.
Oh yeah, because you're locked in at that point.
I was locked in. So then after soccer, I was watching it. But the thing that maybe I feel like the twist. I don't know. Maybe the whole thing at the end, I wasn't that sold on.
It falls apart. I would say as soon as he's in that chair, that's when the movie starts to fall apart.
I don't know about fall apart, but it almost felt like the start of the movie was so good that the reveal wasn't that, or it should have been crazy. It was just like, okay, they're doing this, which is crazy. It's crazy.
Things, yeah.
I don't know. It felt like there should have been some double crossing or something. It's like, oh, the kid's in it, but these ones aren't, or something.
100%. I see what you're saying.
That's probably not going to be a better movie, but I don't know. It just felt like it needed to be wilder.
Can I tell you why I think that it falls apart there, and why I think this might be the reason why you're not a fan of that part? Is because it feels like everything up until there was Jordan Peele's idea. He's bringing in all these little hints. He's bringing in all this real weird stuff that puts you on the edge of your seat. Like you never feel like you're comfortable in that movie. And then when you go into the room downstairs, it's almost as if they're like, all right, we've done this whole movie, but we need to provide as much exposition as possible. So they have him sitting talking.
The Armitage man.
They have the Armitage man. They have the blind man talking about like, hey, we need to do this for this, this, and this reason.
I think maybe because it slowed down. It really slowed down to the, which I don't think was a bad idea, but it slowed down to it was basically zero.
Well, the reality is, it's like one of the reasons why it's so unnerving leading up to it is like, what is going on? I don't know what's going on. Even the silent auction when they're playing bingo.
That's crazy.
That's wild.
That was crazy.
Right? And then what makes it even worse is that when Rose comes out with the gun, right?
Yeah.
Which, I mean, we're gonna talk about Lil Rel Howery after this because he's hilarious in this movie. That's his mate.
Rod,
yeah.
or Rob?
Rod, like he's fishing.
Yeah.
She comes out with the gun and she's saying stuff like, Grandma, go get him, Grandpa.
Yeah.
Like these are things that it felt like someone came over Jordan Peele's shoulder and they said,
they took it to a focus group and go, yeah, but I don't know. Who are these people? Jordan, you got to tell him. You got to straight up tell him.
When Rose says, go get him, Grandpa, on her face, she almost quivers because I feel that she, as the person who was obviously trying to respect Jordan Peele's, and for all I know, Jordan Peele might have done this himself. He might have done this himself. But she almost goes like, oh, that doesn't sound... You go back and watch this part. She almost looks like, yeah, that didn't sound right.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, I don't have that.
I feel it falls down because of that. And when I say falls down, I don't mean like it becomes a horrible movie. I'm still giving this a high score. I'm giving this one of the highest scores you ever seen on the back cover.
It's definitely a very good movie.
It's fantastic. What were your thoughts on Rod as being like literally like a Key and Peele character within this?
Yeah.
This?
I mean, because it wasn't. There were points where it was just like, hey, this is Rod's story for a few minutes here.
Yeah.
And it was fantastic. He's going, hey, this is what's happening. And the lady's going, all right. And he gets two other hands.
That's so funny when he goes to the police.
Because he's got the dog with him as well. And he's talking like, I know you guys are detectives, but, I'm TSA. We're in the same thing, so.
We deal with terror stuff. The best part about that is he tells the lady the story. And then when the two other guys come in, he sort of like hams up the story a bit.
Yeah.
Because that's what you do. Like you get a bigger crowd, you're like, I got to work the crowd now. That's funny, dude. When he's talking to Rose on the phone and she's like, I know you've wanted me this whole time. And he's thinking he's going to record her so he can get like the evidence on her.
And then oh, man. She's a genius.
Dude, Rod's great, man.
Dude, Rod's great. I told you not to go in the house.
The adventures of Rod and that dog, like doing like, you could literally do like a Scooby-Doo like thing. Chris is away, but it's Rod and the dog, and they're like solving crimes.
It's a spin-off series. It's just Rod and the dog. Chris are out there getting therapy because his man's traumatized. He just killed 3 people.
I mean, he killed more than 3 people.
Yeah, because that man's was down there as well.
The whole place burnt.
The
mum's dead.
Yeah,
I mean, she might have got out. The mum might have got out. As in the lady that was doing psychology.
Yeah, I don't.
She was doing some pseudo psychology, but she was doing it.
Dude, she was doing it. She was doing some like, she stirred the pot.
Oh, dude. And you see a lady like that, she looks like she'll stir a pot, Because she's sort of like, she looks like she was a hippie at one stage.
Yeah, I think because in other movies she's been
Maybe
a
she's
hippie.
been a
I think.
hippie.
Yeah, anyway.
She had those vibes.
I think you're right about there was too much expositing.
At the end, yeah.
Yeah, towards the end. I also was trying to work out how did Mans get his head down to put the little cotton balls in his ears?
That's,
That's crazy. Because, if I'm going to try that.
Try that here.
Like he was here.
You can do it.
Brother.
No, you can do it. Because right now we're safe.
Yeah,
right?
Maybe. No, maybe. Maybe. Maybe.
You know what I mean?
We might test that out.
I just did it then. This movie is fantastic on a rewatch, as I said, because you go back and you start seeing these little hints throughout.
I finished and I wanted to rewatch it immediately.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those. It's definitely one of those movies.
Yeah, man.
There are alternate scenes during when the movie came out. People were, there's always like that Facebook post. There's an alternate ending to Get Out that's better than the original.
Well, they did like A/B testing in the theaters.
No, they just be saying that, like, because when the Blu-ray's about to come out, they'd be saying that to hype up the Blu-ray, right? It got me to buy the Blu-ray. I watched the alternate ending. So the ending is the ending of the film of this version of Get Out is that Rod rocks up to the house. And it looks like there might be the police rocking up, but it's actually Rod. The ending, the alternate one, is that the police do rock up and then they take Chris to jail.
Yeah.
Right? And then, Rod and Chris are like, they're talking to each other. They're like doing the hand on the screen at the window. They're not actually doing that. But Rod is saying to Chris, like, hey, let's tell this story. And he's like, nah, it's done. I've cleared it out. I'm completely fine with this.
Chris is saying that.
Chris is saying that.
Yeah.
And people say that's a much better ending. I actually prefer the Rod ending.
I think the Rod ending's good.
I think the Rod ending is fantastic.
Yeah.
Because you're like, oh,
it's the police. Because I was thinking about this movie so much last night because I couldn't sleep because man's like, I'm getting old. I'm injuring every muscle in my body. I was tossing and turning. I was thinking, if that was actually the police, I'm thinking, there's heaps of evidence. You got the photos of the people and all that stuff. Burnt the house down.
Burnt the house down.
Burnt the house down.
Exactly.
What are you going to do?
You'd have to be like, hey,
witnesses all gone.
You'd have to say, hey, go up to that man that was at the start of the movie, and then he's wearing like a 3-piece suit later on in the movie.
Yeah, you got to
and take a photo of him.
Yeah,
yeah.
That's the other thing. Well, they not have any flash photography at any of these white people events.
Well, I mean, that's the reason they don't have flash photography at these.
No, but I'm saying you're saying none of this happened. There was not one flash. Not like, oh man, it's real bright outside. Oh.
Well, I think one of the reasons why it is. I mean, there's a whole lot of reasoning behind this.
I don't think you need to go into that too much. But also, man's rocking a Windows phone. Like even in 2017. That's
right. He's rocking Windows. But
that's crazy.
What are the windows to people's souls? And what does this movie do a lot of? Looks into people's eyes. Yeah, it's all about the eyes. They're windows to the soul.
Yeah.
Shout out Key and Peele.
Yeah. Also, if they've got the grandma and the grandpa in the bodies, they're
of those people, yeah.
Why are they doing housework?
You reckon they're getting at it together? Like, we're feeling young again.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying, why are they doing housework? But I guess...
But you do that, though.
But also...
if you're in a new body as an old person...
No, I'm saying, but that's also could be because Chris is there.
But also, like, maybe grandma wants to do some housework.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying that's all they did, but...
While Chris was there.
While Chris is there. That's probably,
right. You got to keep up the facade in some way.
You got to keep up the facade.
How funny is that dude that's the grandpa? Like, she's an old keeper.
Oh,
and Chris's face is just like, he's like, you're not Chris's friend Chris, are you?
Yeah. Damn, this was a good movie.
It's fantastic. It's funny. It is very funny, even within all of that. Like, I mean, comedy and horror, like, they emote big emotions, and sometimes they can mix very well. You see a lady standing with her 3 kids. She's saying, we're going to be with our father soon. That'll make you laugh, depending on who you are.
I do think everything was just well done. Even the parts where Chris talking about his mum dying and things like that. That was crazy. That
scene when he's sitting with her, and she's doing the thing. That's
a heavy scene,
dude. That's you get an Oscar for that.
Dude, you get an Oscar award winner,
dude. Like, I mean, Chris should have got one for that performance. He's sitting there, he's crying. His eyes are just, he can't blink, he can't move. And then he goes into the sunken place. That's scary, dude.
Yeah.
That's scary when he's falling. Imagine your whole life, you just looking around like, I'm still falling. Like, do I sink further? Like, what happens?
Is this horror though? This is a horror movie.
This is a horror movie. Okay. It's scary. You know? You could say it's thriller because there's no ghouls and goblins.
Well, I don't know. I don't know what my definition of a horror movie is, so I'm not going to.
I mean, it's something that
I wouldn't have thought. Yeah, this wasn't a scary movie for me.
It's an intense. I feel it is.
It was intense. It was definitely a thriller. It was the edgiest thriller.
The issue with me is, like, if this was a family that I was going and dating their daughter, and they just wanted to use any form of mold, like a Greek mold, they wanted to use that. I'd be in there. There'd be no way I'd get out.
Yeah, how would you? Man, that part where he does the flash, which is hilarious because number one, he's a photographer.
Yeah.
He's a photographer and he kept the flash on.
And also he's out in the sun, like there's no auto,
Well, that's because he's got a Windows phone. He's got a Windows phone. You got an iPhone, you even got a Samsung. the flash, auto flash is not going to be on. But that is wild. And then his nose starts bleeding. He's, get out,
dude.
Fantastic.
That's scary.
Fantastic. Because that's the title of the movie.
Insane.
And he's talking later like, oh, I'm sorry. I must have worried on you.
You just be there then and then, just like take another photo of him. Just be like, yeah, I'm getting out of here. Because it'd be like, seriously, man, why are you still here? Please get out. If he said more than get out, like if he said, hey, Chris, they're doing this to people.
Too much exposition.
That's right. That's scary, dude. But I would get sucked into this. You see a lady like Rose, she's real nice. She's got a nice smile on her, like that.
I mean, for a guy like you, she'd tell you, hey, like we're gonna use your body as a mold for my auntie or this like dude. Yeah. You say, yeah, I can change you.
I can change your auntie. That's no worry. Dude, I'd be swinging. You'd be swinging. Because I wouldn't get hypnotized. What are they going to hypnotize me about?
What do you mean?
Like, what are they going to hypnotize me about? What's going to get me in the chair? You know what I'm saying, though?
I don't know. They talk about like vegetables, and you get in a chair.
Oh, dude! If someone said they're going,
I'll just say, hey, get in this. I've got UFC fighter videos, like not doing UFC things. They're just doing vegetables. You get in the chair.
If they said this is a video of UFC fighters with horses, I'd be in the chair watching. And then they do you making me a cup of tea? Ah, thank you. And then I'd be like, eyes open,
vegetable. Dude, see, that's what I mean. They'll get you.
They'll get me. They'll get you. Because they'll find that gap in me. Because I'll be speaking to you and you'll be my rod. I'll be on the phone. I'll be like, dude, these guys talking about vegetables over here. You should come through.
Man, what a fantastic movie. This is like an 8.5.
Dude, this is a straight up 9 out of 10.
8.5. I was just good. Talk to me. I enjoyed Talk to Me. I did think Talk to Me was a scary movie.
Yeah, and I mean, they do serve slightly different purposes as well.
That's right. They're different. Yeah. They're different types of movies.
Now, I'm very excited to see your thoughts on the next two.
What's the next one? Is it Us?
Us is the next one. And I would say Us is more a traditional horror movie. And then the Nope is less traditional horror movie. But it's
less traditional horror movie.
It's less traditional horror movie. I think that's the genre. Less traditional horror movie.
Traditional horror movie.
That was Rod and the Dog. This has been the Back Catalogue.
Talk soon.